Newsfile is brought to you in association with MTN.
Everywhere you go.
Bank of Africa, as strong as a group, as close as a partner.
Where Duraplas goes, water flows.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Ghana's most useful app. Hubtel is everything you.
Visit the St. Thomas Eye Hospital and get advice on which treatment works best for you.
Fernart Ghana. Think wood. Think Fernart.
We take a break from the coronation of King Charles III in the UK to pay attention to matters that bother us locally. That's a country with lush green and beautiful places that everybody wants to travel to and see. At this time in Ghana, we are destroying our forests, water bodies. So the failed Galamsey fight, is it a case of regulatory failure? We will task the Minerals Commission on this question. The poor press freedom ranking. Even Burkina Faso, under military regime, does better than your Ghana as far as its press freedom and safety of journalists is concerned. Is it time to repeal false news laws? A court of appeal judge who is also on the African court, Justice Dennis Ejay, joins calls for this to happen. He says we should not criminalize speech. The abuse of those laws appears to be the major reason Ghana is doing so poorly in that regard. The National Cathedral mess. We find out if the TUC and MP Okudzeto Ablakwa have been convincing in the course of the week on their positions on the project. I'm Samson Ladia Yanini. We'll be right back to deal with the Vex matters.
Pascal's showing his boss the efficient new technology they've installed. She is pleased, but now she's asking, why is that still there? Pascal explains that the wells can store many, many messages. The boss is not so pleased anymore. If you haven't upgraded your contact center yet, it's time to get business done better with MTN Business.
For decades, we have helped businesses connect with their trade partners all over the globe. From Ghana to Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Benin, Togo, Senegal, China, Morocco, France, Netherlands, and many other countries. We have made it possible to bring Ghana to the world. We have brought small and medium businesses closer to their customers across the regions in Ghana with our SME support facilities. We have brought relief and smiles to the faces of families with our employee personal loans. With our cutting-edge technology and digital support, we take the burden of complex thinking off you, making life simple. That is who we are, as close as a partner. Bank of Africa. We are indeed the African bank with the global reach.
Hi, good day. Your friend is Dr. Victor Nana Dankwa because every Vic Dank Healthcare. And probably then call for hospital like catch up someone your liver and kidney related conditions. Obi on my or fatty liver. Obi on my catching so when your hydronephrosis. Obi on my catching so when your pyelonephritis, which is inflammation of the kidneys. Obi on my catching say the kidney so be a major now. Obi on my send the creatinine and I send the JFR. And until you be so how now sit me tatai. I feel don't send me an atom. Johnson now be Johnson, we say phone be about betraying. Kawakuma to him. And until now, Vigdan Healthcare, Yabase, yet no alternative way so ever so yare.
So over Vigdanka, it was serene environment with ultra modern facilities. As I was share there was Painters, Coca-Cola Runabout, close to Fidelity Bank, Stanchart Ichironuma.
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo, you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver. One stage.
You're welcome back. This is Newsfile, it's your most authoritative news analysis platform, and here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first. And here is Samson's take. Act professionally, stop the abuse. Part 4. Suicidal soldier, CDS to the rescue. That was my first title upon receiving the good news. But I had to remind myself that this is a series whose title must not depart from the previous ones in the last 3 weeks. I've had an encounter, cordial and responsive, with the Ghana Army. And I am mandated to tell you that if any officer or the military police ever try to arrest or detain you for military discipline, don't only resist, but file a complaint. Yes, any misguided elements in the uniform that ought to be respected, wielding the gun that you pay for, who attempts to treat you, a civilian, as though you were under military discipline, must be exposed for sanctions. In fact, many should actually be suing to check the abuse of the uniform and the gun. You have heard me educate and denounce the unlawful conduct where some wealthy and influential persons turn unscrupulous soldiers into debt collectors and land guards. The Chief of Defense Staff and his lieutenants denounce the abuse. They are united with you, the civilian populace, against the conduct and assure that they will deal with such complaints with the speed of light. You have heard me condemn such unlawful and unconstitutional conduct in the last few weeks. So no officer has the blessing of the army leadership to engage in such. Therefore, stand up against the errant soldiers. Lance Corporal Kofi Andrews gets rescued from the guard room. I have told the story about how he has been in there at Michelle Camp unlawfully since November 2022, when their own law commands that an officer under discipline must be released if not tried after 90 days. There is now clear admission that those who supervised his detention erred and violated his rights in a most unfair manner. Though the letter from his lawyers was endorsed as received on 5th December 2022, it did not, for some reason, get to the CDS for action until I delivered a copy this week. Upon expiration of the 90 days in the guard room, adjutants have on several occasions denied his request to speak to commanders who forgot about him there. If you cannot try someone within the time stipulated by law, release them, but secure their attendance when needed. That's what a democracy does. Actively involve your legal departments to avoid some of the embarrassment you put the Attorney General through when matters get to court. Don't use your position to abuse. The purpose of position and power is the welfare and advancement of the people and entities for whom you have the position or power. I'll say no more. I'm satisfied by the firm assurance at the highest level that the wrong will be remedied. The fact that there will be increased frequency in high-level monitoring of guard rooms to ensure that not even a single person's liberty is abused in such manner again is reassuring. That is what proactive leaders do. Law and order may have broken down in Ashaiman, but there can be no alternative to due process of the law in a democracy to dealing with any breakers. I join the CDD once again, Occupy Ghana and all lovers of the rule of law to repeat the demand for sanctions and compensation for what is admitted to be one of the excesses on that day. The Ghana Army must remain a symbol of discipline, home and abroad. The uniform and gun must be feared as a protective security brand commanding public support and not one that evokes images of insecurity, especially in the poor, hate, or anything that compromises our collective security and undermines our democracy. And that is my take. I'll be right back to introduce my guest to you as we get into the vexed matters.
This is a house that I have built and I have not even moved into. The roofing that was installed less than a year ago has already faded.
I recommended DBS Industries to you, but you said that already asked your nephew to take care of it. DBS Industries has introduced a new roofing system known as ColorLink Plus.
So you mean all these beautifully roofed houses were done by DBS Industries? Let's go to DBS Industries. My brother, I understand DBS Industries has installed roofing system that does not fade after installation.
Sir, it's true. It's ColorLink Plus. It is a special roofing system that DBS has imported from Europe. When installed, it does not fade. And due to the faith we have in them, we give our clients a 20-year warranty.
20 years warranty? Look, my house was roofed by a certain company. The sheets have completely faded. If DBS has this unique roofing system, then please uninstall the old one. If it means spending twice on a durable material, it's worth it.
It also leaves your room very cool.
You are your own person, unique, one of a kind, special. That's why you deserve everything tailored to suit your particular taste, your preference, your needs. Just like MTN Just For You. You can get customized offers tailored to who you are. Dial *141# or use the MyMTN app to get to choose from a variety of offers made just for you.
Hey, Charlie, what number? The malaria really knocked you down, eh?
Charlie, no joke.
fever, headache, vomiting, loss of appetite. I couldn't even eat my usual fufu.
You and your fufu. But I hope you got tested before the malaria treatment.
Yes, I did. And thanks to Malatu, I kicked out malaria one time.
When malaria strikes, take Malatu, containing artemether and lumefantrine. Comes in tablets and suspension for effective treatment of malaria.
Great to have you back.
Thank you. No problem.
Malatu is suitable for adults and children. Manufactured and distributed by NS Chemist Limited. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
There are days when you think, whoa, today I've earned it. So order a Glovo. Days when plans run longer. What if we order a Glovo? Or days when you can't control everything. Oh yes, because on Glovo, you can order anything you want. Glovo, you order, we deliver.
Proudly made in Ghana, Signal Cable has served the motherland and West Africa since 2018 as a leading cable manufacturer in the sub-region, providing homes and commercial spaces with top-of-the-range and global standard cables for all your electrification purposes at very convenient prices. With strong confidence in our effectively standardized cables, we bridge the gap between quality and safety, giving you the desired peace of mind to enjoy your homes and be productive in your commercial spaces with zero fear for fire outbreaks due to installation of inferior cables. Our trained team provides you with excellent customer service and give you expert advice that guarantees value for money. No matter the quantity, we provide you with free delivery within Accra and Tema. You can never get it wrong with Signal Cables.
Contact us for more inquiries and free delivery on 0246 304 309. Signal Cable, 10 Nations Cable.
Hello CEOs, are you ready? The 7th Ghana CEO Summit and Expo is here. The foremost business conference for over 500 topmost CEOs, heads of state, business leaders and ambassadors to be held on the 22nd of May 2023 at the Kempinski Hotel on the theme Economic Sovereignty, Sustainability and Digital Industrial Transformation, New Path for Growth and Prosperity. This impactful summit has attracted over 2,000 high-level dignitaries, including His Excellencies President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and ex-president John Mahama. Be enlightened with actionable perspectives, CEO performance strategies, strategic insights on the latest business trends through CEO masterclasses, plenaries, keynote, expert insights, and CEO peer networking sessions. Register to participate at GhanaCEOSummit.com. For inquiries, call 0546 391970 or 0244 687222. The Ghana CEO Summit and Expo is powered by Ghana CEO Network in partnership with Deloitte, Ministry of Public Enterprises, GIPC, SIGA, and the Multimedia Group. T's and C's apply.
Right, so hoping that by 10 o'clock you would have been educated enough, because he says he's on a mission to make sure that you become some sort of an expert in the minerals industry when it comes to talking about gold. I'm talking about the Chief Executive Officer of the Minerals Commission, Martin A.C. Thank you so very much for making time to join us today.
Something. Morning.
Good morning. On the second half, we shall have Fatima Abubakar, Deputy Minister for Information, Suleiman Abrahima, Executive Director, Media Foundation for West Africa, and Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP North Tongue and Ranking Member, Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament, and subsequently will also be joined by Dr. Paul Opoku-Mensah, Executive Director of the National Cathedral Secretariat. So I discovered that you are a barrister at law. You have done as many as 2 master's degrees in law, and I was curious. Have you attempted to check how many laws we have to regulate mining? There are over 20, about 23 of them.
More than that.
More than that?
Yes. More than that, because then you have the mainstream, if you like, hardcore mining laws, like the Act, and about 6 or so regulations. Then you have a few amendments to some acts and regulations.
Right. Yes, I counted them.
Then you have the EPA laws.
Okay.
That have a relationship with mining.
That's good.
Water resources, because you can't do without water in mining. So if you need to impound water to process, you need a water permit. So you run into about 25 plus.
25 plus
or
laws
more,
to regulate this particular sector. So would you agree that the situation we find ourselves, where our forest is in danger, our water bodies in danger, leading to the president having to, take this step, is a questioning of regulatory failure? Nothing more.
Something. I'm happy you've given us this platform, and I hope we'll sustain it, because there's so much to throw out there for people to know. And then good morning to your viewers and maybe listeners, those who are listening. I will be the first, like my minister, to admit that Galamsey is not over. I will not say we have failed. I can understand the outrage and the anger, Ghanaians. You see, when people switch on their telly, the anger, the outrage of Ghanaians is that water body that looks like apple juice or Milo, or perhaps what you are wearing.
That's right.
That is the anger.
And if the minister says that he cannot boast of one single stream, water body that is fit for purpose, how does failure look like?
Well, you are only looking at it from one angle. Maybe as we discuss, you can understand the situation better. I'll be the first to admit to say that the situation is not satisfactory. That is a fact. And it will be foolhardy on my part to sit here and say, the fight has been won, it's all over, Ghanaians can go and sleep, you can go and drink that water. That is not the case. But I want you to, but government is doing a lot. I want you to give me like 5 minutes to just delve into a little bit of history and then the state of play in the small scale sector. Just
Please
5 minutes.
Please do.
Then we can get into the real meat. Something. ASM has been with us as far back as the 15th century. So folks in that kind areas, particularly like these are Ashanti brothers and sisters.
ASM, artisanal mining.
Yes, artisanal and small scale mining. They've been using gold for the past, since the 15th century. Throughout the colonial period, it was discouraged. Even right from independence. And you'll be shocked to know that lawful small-scale activities started in 1989. Just 1989. How many years ago about 36 years ago. So right down from prehistoric times throughout the colonial era until 1989, what was happening? When it rains, you know, people find these gold nuggets and stuff behind their area. Or they have this panning kind of, if you like, wooden structural equipment. They go and scoop, put it, no mercury those days, and then they just pan for gold and then off they go. By 1989, we realized that a country like Togo, which practically produces no gold, a lot of gold was being traded. Same in Ivory Coast. So quickly, through some World Bank assistance, we had to formalize the sector. So 3 laws were quickly passed. The Mercury Law, PNDC Law 217, 1989. PNDC Law 218, which is the small-scale gold law. So that was the first formal attempt to legalize small-scale mining. And then PMC Law was passed for the purchase of the buying, 219. Then I think in 2006, all these laws were integrated into the Minerals and Mining Law. So proper legal framework to regulate the sector started in 1989. Now, Samson, until recently, you can only talk about small-scale mining in just about 5 regions. Ashanti region, Eastern, Central, Western region, which has now been split into 2, Western region and Western North, and where you come from, Boga, Upper East, that particular enclave. This is where small-scale mining has been going on. Today, as we speak, save Oti, where I come from. I happen to be the chief of my village. Even I've been told there are some gold deposits there now. Greater Accra region and Volta region. You are having about 12 to 13 regions where small-scale mining is taking place now. So we need to understand that. Now, when I joined Minerals Commission 2002, I started from the lowest officer grade, assistant officer. We're talking about 500,000 Ghanaians in small-scale mining. Something, you're talking about more than 10% of the population whose livelihood depends on small-scale mining. Our last check, you're talking about no less than 3 million people. There are more people in small-scale mining than cocoa today. Yes, practically almost everywhere cocoa is grown, small-scale mining takes place. And then you have the 5 northern regions where small-scale is taking place, you don't have cocoa.
Revealing stuff.
Yes. You need to understand the context. So you see, when people get up and say, let's ban it, either they don't have the understanding or they don't have the situation on the ground. So to wrap up, about 12 or so, 13 regions, small-scale mining is going on. You're talking about 3 million people involved in small-scale. This is direct and indirect. Let me just touch on what I mean. You see, the gentlemen or those people who go into the pits there and then go and do those stuff there, they are directly involved. Now, that lady who comes to mount a foot joint at the mining site to sell water, to sell food, we count all of them there but for the mining side, what is she coming to do there? That's employment. It's just like you have people who are directly employed at Joy FM here, and then those that come here to perform, let's say, cleaning services. They may not be employed here, but because they are getting a contract, they have something to live on. So over 3 million people, about 12, 13 regions. If you look at the receipts, a few figures so that you can understand, again, the state of play. 2018, large-scale production and revenue was about $3.4 billion. Small-scale brought $2.4 billion. More than cocoa. 2019, 3.9 billion large-scale, small-scale, 2 billion. And last year, it did about 1.3 billion. So it's important we understand the statistics. So that is the state of play. The numbers, the jobs, etc. Now, there are some areas in Ghana here, the entire community livelihood is all mining. Take the places like Takwa, Prestia, which actually grew out of a mining town, Diaso, Dentra. Even where you come from, all these areas, mining is taking place. Mining sustains livelihoods there. Everything that is happening there is all mining. So that is the situation we are faced with. Now, what is happening is this. We find ourselves where people are now engaged in all kinds of things, the summary you give. destruction of water bodies, destruction of forests, etc. The question is, what is causing the galamsey? Having told you the 12, 13 regions, having given you the numbers, having given you the data and the export receipts, if you ask me, what is driving all those things? I'll touch on 5 points. Then we can now get to what government is doing, why is the problem.
Let's do that quickly. Yeah.
Yes. One, most people will be shocked to hear this, but then if you ask me, one of the biggest drivers of galamsey or illegal mining is getting a place for the miners to work. That is a very fundamental issue. Getting a place for them to work. You see, the large-scale people, this is what they do. They look for an area, apply, spend time and do exploration. So anything between 7 to even as high as 15, 20 years, they find the resource, they apply for license, they start mining. In small scale, there's nothing like prospecting. So it's difficult to get a place for them. So what do? Try your luck. So they just get up and dig anywhere. If they happen to hit, they call it a vein. Then you see them congregating. If they are lucky and the place is free, they approach us with license for them. So what we have not done well as a nation over the years is to invest in what we call geological investigation. That is the number one problem because they don't do exploration. So, and it costs millions of dollars. What are we supposed to do every year? Get something out of the budget, hand it over to. Fortunately, we have a public institution that has a capacity to do that geological survey. Give them the money, they do the exploration, we pass it out the place. So that is it. Interesting story before I go to point number 2. A mining company in Central Region and then they have a property that also cut across. They got overwhelmed by galamsey, huge resource gold identified. Then they surrendered the ground to government or to Minerals Commission. So we sent the district inspector or officer there to go and find out what is the situation on the ground. He went there, about 10,000 people there. Here's what he found. The small-scale miners in 1,000 were on this side of the concession. And then, guess what? The data we got of a mining company showing where the gold is here. Okay? Even that one, they were getting something. So that tells you that geological investigation is key. We've not done that. What is government doing? Now they understand they've given us some money to geological survey, even to UMAT to do exploration. These things will take time. So in the interim, how are you licensing the small-scale miners? If licenses expire, we block the area, we give it to them. That's number 1. 2, if the large-scale people voluntarily give us the grounds, we block it, we give it to them. And they've been very cooperative. that comes with data and the surrender report, we give it to them. Then areas where Minerals Commission has also designated as small-scale areas, we give it to them. Then what is quite common now is where the small-scale miners come up with their own coordinates, we check if it's free, we give it to them. Well, that's what we are doing. But in the medium to long term, the solution will be to spend millions of dollars and do what do call it, geological investigation. The second one is the licensing regime. Maybe that is what Prof touched a little bit in his report. Something, if he's going to take a small-scale miner a year, 2, 3 years to get a license, he could as well go and start. I'm not endorsing that, but because you see, once he puts in an application and he doesn't get a license quickly, what is going to happen is that he fears colleagues or people around can come over around the place. So he could as well go and start. How we fix it down? Today, we do licensing Monday to Sunday. So as you speak, you can put in your application. So that problem is over. At least on the part of Minerals Commission, the delays in the licensing regime can be fixed. You can invite the association, they can speak to that. So that has seen significant improvement within the last 2-3 years. Now, the next 3 is where the problem is. What I want you to understand is that this involves a lot of money. Okay, it's like the drug trade. Too much money. And for some people, no matter what they do, they'll go there. So people see it as quick money, they got to go there and make something. 12 million, they go to the water body. So the kind of rents and the kind of money involved is also what is driving that. And then maybe what I would say, the complicity of everyone. The complicity of everyone. But before I come to that, I want to touch on the sanctions regime. For instance, just this Monday, the holiday, the small-scale task force and the Minerals Commission office in Odan arrested 3 Yemenis, and then impounded 2 excavators, which are now parked at the police station. Then a chief showed up, says, "I hire me there. This is my site." So quickly, the police arrested them. The locals who were working fled. They've been arrested. We got the authorities involved. I think they've been granted police inquiry bail. Now, something here is what I want the general public to understand. Now, if this chief and these 3 Yemenis, you even put the Yemenis aside, if this chief, where everybody in the community knows that he's involved in the galamsey, is not taken through the full rigor of the law, and is not prosecuted and put in jail, what does that mean? It means that for the community, here's a chief who is involved in galamsey, they arrested him, he's been granted bail, he's come back, he's still doing it. That is impunity. So the signal you are sending out there to those who are living in the community that we can get away with it. So our attitude, our behavior is what, look, the penalties and then the sanction regime is very punitive. What we should be seeing is that they should be biting. So for instance, this chief, if he's convicted by the court in Odan and is put in jail and is well publicized, just like I was told, Aisha Wan has been convicted now. And then between now...
She has admitted to one aspect of the offense.
That's fine.
Yeah, so the trial is on.
The trial is on, so we can leave that. But what I'm trying to say is that persons who are arrested, if these are well publicized, and then they are put in jail, the so-called influential people, which includes some chiefs and some political architects, etc., are arrested and put in jail. And then these are, shown to the public that, look, this person has been arrested, maybe some DC, some chief, or some political actor has been put in jail. Then you are sending a strong signal to everybody that, hey, you can go to jail.
All right.
So that is it. And then to wrap it up, so that's a complicity. And then I'm struggling. I'm trying to ask myself this simple question. This thing has been going on for some days, or months, or years in a community. We have local government administration, we have police people there. Okay? They are not saying this. So the Minerals Commission district officer goes round. Fortunately, he has a vehicle now. He picks the coordinates. Then he goes to tell maybe those who matter that, look, there are some people here who are doing galamsey. Remember, some years back, you could just go there and drive them away and ask them to come for license. Today, they are carrying guns. Okay? That is the situation now. And you've seen some of the arrests. So, in brief, these are the drivers.
Right.
These are the numbers involved. These are the receipts. And what is the state of
Very interesting point.
Very interesting.
But so Prof. Mpom Boateng is right when he says the gradual deterioration of the environment in the mining sector is due to lapses in the functions of the regulatory agencies, especially the Minerals Commission and the Forestry Commission. The complaints you make, I see where district assemblies have to play their role,
yes,
where chiefs have to play their role, where even the community members have to play their role. The police and the Attorney General also have to play their role. But it starts with you.
It starts with me, or Minerals Commission, and I'll explain our role and our bit. We are the regulatory body. What are we supposed to do? Receive application, process them, and then make sure that they get the appropriate authorization or approvals to work. Then we are supposed to get to the ground and monitor them.
Exactly.
Now, in the past, there has been some challenges with resources. For instance, I have just told you that close to about 12 or 13 regions now, small-scale mining. So it means you need men on the ground. You need a lot of inspectors, you need a lot of engineers to be there to do the monitoring and inspection. You need offices, you need tools and equipment. That I'm saying that within the last 2 years, that has been provided by government. Something I'm not boasting, but I can tell you that today, within the last 2 years, the Minerals Commission is one of the most resourced public institutions in Ghana today.
We thank God.
We are not capped, just hang on, we are not capped. We never take our budget to minister, it is reduced. We go to parliament, the parliamentary committee even tries to increase it for us. So the tools we need to work with, the modern gadgets, the men, the offices, the vehicles, we now have them. So, and this is within the last 2-3 years, fantastic. I'm just telling you that you cannot do weekends, etc. So in the past, the guy will have to wait till Monday and go to the office. Now, he can do application for small-scale mining now. Right. So that is the improvement we are bringing in the regulatory bit.
The reason we had the Interministerial Mining Committee,
yes,
was because you, the Minerals Commission, Forestry Commission, and all the other authorities had failed in the discharge of your duties. But you in particular, that you give license and you have to monitor to ensure that the right things are being done. And yet the wrong things were going on for years. There was a ban. You just gave us the statistics about the revenue from the sector. Within the year where you mentioned in excess of $3 billion coming to the country through this, there have been ban. The last figure you gave us, which has reduced about $1.something billion, the ban is not as effective. The ban is no more there. Doesn't that tell you that when it is said that this boils down to regulatory failure, that's just what it is?
Something I disagree. I don't agree with you. You see, before you started the question, your introductory remarks, you said police, chiefs, attorney general, you mentioned all kinds of institutions. Maybe that may be answering part of your question. So that tells you that the problem is multifaceted. You see, when the president was setting up Interministerial Committee, he had a clear vision, or he knew what he was about, because the report he was getting is that several institutions and actors need to be brought together to deal with the problem. That is why Interministerial was set up, and then so many ministers were brought in. Why do you think Interior and then Defense were brought in? Because people were carrying guns. There are security issues here. Why was the Water Resources brought in? The water, what do you call it, the Sanitation Ministry. So EP and co. So everybody was brought together to look at how to deal with the issue of illegal mining, which went beyond the regulator. Now, in the case of the regulatory body, he made a specific, what do you call it, comments, okay, that the regulator has become, like, let me put it this way, for want of a better word, was not well equipped to perform its activities.
And non-cooperative.
I'll come to that. And I'm saying that bit that has to touch on the fact that the regulator is not well equipped is no more. We are well equipped now. So we cannot say that we don't have the men or we don't have the resources to go around and do our work. That is it. But then don't also forget that bit that has to do with other actors.
Right.
Okay? But let me answer the bit on the uncooperative attitude. I'm sure you have gone through the report like anybody else.
Yes, the IMC, as we understand,
yes,
had vetted and given licenses to close to 2,000 small-scale miners.
That is where
to operate legally and sustainably. And we understand that apparently the Lands Ministry and your outfit were angry that the IMC was at the forefront of matters concerning small-scale mining, which you said were your functions that they were seeking to usurp. Therefore, you decided to effectively sabotage the process.
Maybe the word sabotage is too strong, but something, let me explain how government work. In the first place, Interministerial is not a regulatory body. You need to understand that. It was not set up to regulate mining. It was set up to deal with the issues arising from illegal mining that is eating up this country.
Because the regulator had failed to do its job effectively.
No, in your earlier statement, you keep repeating, because you see, there are issues. Let me ask you something. I go to your village where there's a lot of mining now. The Minerals Commission officer goes from Borga, picks intelligence that there are about 40 people here doing small-scale mining, well armed. What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to relay this information to the security apparatus. Then they organize, do a sweep, and arrest them.
That's right.
You don't expect an officer who has no gun or he's not trained to do that to go and arrest people.
Certainly not.
And I'm telling you that 5, 10, 6 years ago, it was not the case. So you need to understand these dynamics. Now, interministerial is not a regulatory body. Under the laws of Ghana, the person or the entity or the person who is authorized to grant licenses is a minister responsible for mines. Today we see the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources acting on the recommendation of the Minerals Commission. So the expectation is that if we have 6, 7 ministers go and sit down, brainstorm and say, look, there's this bit that touches on, let's say, environment or mining or this. You prepare a brief and then the minister is written to. So if it is environment, EPA, the minister responsible to environment is written to. The minister for mining is written to. Then he will now write to Minerals Commission and say, at our last meeting at interministerial, these decisions have been taken. Can you go ahead and take action to process these licenses? Because if you go around and you are launching community mining schemes, you see, any authorization approval you give to somebody has to be situated in law. It has to be anchored in law. That is one. So I'm happy he said in his report that he faced opposition from the minister who supposedly was supposed to be on the committee. What does that tell you? Okay? So don't even come to Minerals Commission level. So these were some of the things. We were expecting to get instructions to say these policy decisions have been made. So take steps to action them. Because you see, you get up and then you go and launch a community mining site. We were getting a lot of reports from the large-scale mining companies that their lands were being taken and launched for community mining. And then when you say community mining, you are giving...
Yes, so you can work collaboratively to resolve that rather than seek...
because you see...
This was a special situation. And this was a special purpose vehicle.
But we are a country
to
of
make
laws.
sure that...
We are a country of laws. That is why even if you need to declare a state of emergency today, the president, as soon as possible, will have to go to parliament. We are a country of laws.
There was a reason why even all those who claim to have had licenses were required to submit them for vetting.
Yes, to submit.
And not to submit them for vetting by you, but by the committee.
You are assisting me answer even the question in a very simple way. All those licenses, all those data and all those things were taken there. The Minerals Commission officers, those from EPA and everybody went there to go and do the vetting. And then they said, oh, that is fine. So the expectation is that you need to do X, Y, Z. The instructions go to the minister. Then the minister writes to the CEO of the Minerals Commission. And then we take action. So the Minerals Commission, which is a creature of the Constitution, a minister who is responsible for issuing licenses sits there. And then you are called midnight that we are going to launch community mining sites. Then companies who have lawfully come here to do business start complaining that, look, our lands are being taken to give to people to do mining. We've not been told, we've not been informed. We are not against government policy. That's the kind of thing that was going on. So then the chairman of the Minerals Commission, the then SK Bafo, says, you cannot do things this way. You are under instructions by the president to sanitize the sector. Just prepare your policy briefs and the directives, pass it on to the regulator to implement. So this is where...
Your job of licensing.
Yes.
How do you explain that when you say now you have taken control and you're able to do all of these things within, good time and sort of all is clean and well? How do you answer that when mining is sort of prohibited within a certain radius of a water body? There were red zones that were declared, there were yellow zones that were declared, and yet you have Minerals Commission giving out licenses to people to mine, and where they are mining straddle critical water bodies, including the Ankobra, Pra, Tano, and Offin Basin.
Something. It's not true. You see, let me explain this to you. When you lodge an application, the district officer and inspector will have to take it to the ground. They know their job. You can't mine within or undertaking the operation within 100 meters from the water body. So even if your concession is 25 acres and you have about 5 out of it, they will tell you that you can take the 5 out. So there is no way Minerals Commission will issue license to anybody to go within the buffer zone. That is one.
Let me show you some
Yes.
evidence.
Yes.
They, at least about 6 of them, you know, Eroka Ghana. They show you the evidence about a company, for example, Unipower Mining Company Limited. And where is the mining going on? River Tunnel. And it has a license from 2022 to 2032. 2022, when you issue this license. The application was made on the 26th of August 2019. There is Cape North Limited. It is mining on the Ankobra River. The license is applied for on the 22nd of September 2022. We have, again, Unipower on the Pra River with a license applied for February 19, 2022. We have Bex Gold on the Offing River, Offing Basin. License applied for 3rd April 2020. 2 more. Open Job Mining. License applied for 1st July 2020 on the Offing Basin. And you have K. Kukum Ventures, also on the Offing Basin, and license 28th of December 2021. That's when they applied. And they got the approval 8th of July 2022, and they are mining until 7th July 2027.
Something straightforward answer. To start with, before you can carry out any mining activities, you need 3 approvals. The license or the lease, properly so-called, signed by the minister on the recommendation of the Minerals Commission. You need an EPA permit, and then you need the operating permit that allows you to go to the land and work from the Chief Inspector of Mines of the Minerals Commission. My memory stressed me strongly. None of these people have all the approvals. So if anybody is doing anything there, then it is illegal.
The license they have straddles these places, which is prohibited.
No, hang on. You see, unless there is some mischief, not from you, or whoever sent you this information, Minerals Commission has not recommended the grant of license for anybody to mine on River Cobra or Pra. So in the first place, that is a lie. It is not true. It's not true. We don't grant. You know why? You see, if you want to exploit a water body for any natural resource, I am familiar with the law.
First, you said there's no evidence.
What
I show you the evidence.
No,
and
you
Eroka Ghana is a very serious entity within this.
Just as Minerals Commission is also a very serious institution within this field.
They certainly have an integrity, they will not want to say that.
So I am challenging them.
These specifics are on river bodies, and that is not the case.
No, that's not the case, because there is no way Minerals Commission will recommend the issuance of a license on a water body. I'll tell you how the system works. In the event anybody wants to even issue, give a permit for anybody to exploit a water body, the first place you go is Water Resources Commission. You don't even come to the Minerals Commission. So, for example, recently VRA wanted to dredge the Adan area, to clear these waters in it and all this. You have to go to Water Resources to clear you. You need to go to EPA to clear you. If it's a forest reserve, you have to get forest entry permit before you come to the Minerals Commission. That's how it works. But you see, his statement is categorical that they've been giving license to mine on Ankobra and Offing, and I'm saying it is not true.
You are supposed
if he's saying that they have licenses within the vicinity, that's okay.
The licenses straddle these entities.
Yes, but you said, you read you said that they've been giving licenses to mine on Ankobra.
I was clear. I stated that they straddle these entities and they are seen working on these river bodies.
They are working on a river body. Something, let's get this clear. When you have somebody who has a license, because as far as I'm concerned, they don't have the authority to work. They've not completed their approvals. So people who are working there may be what? Illegal miners.
Okay.
Unless I have I have a very strong reason to believe that they've been done. Now look, as I speak here, practically almost all the large-scale companies have their tenements being invaded by small-scale
Last week I was asking you a question I didn't clearly get an answer
Yes.
to. You are supposed to install tracking devices on the earth-moving equipment,
Yes.
excavators.
We started.
Not you started. This is the law that you got in 2020 to empower you to do this. And you are taking fees for the purpose. So there is not supposed to be an excavator moving without you knowing where they are.
Something. I started by telling you how the system works. Now, distinguish between those who sell excavators and those who have been given licenses to work. So, here's the situation. If you're a small-scale miner,